Welcome, June Unlocked Channel。
本期视频主要分为6个部分。第一部分现实练习，
好，下面我们来讲解一下这道题目。首先我们会发现它是讲的 the numbers of participants for different activities at one social center in Melbourne。好，然后这里的时间的话，我们会发现它应该是一个过去的时态。
我们的文章结构是 introduction， 就是要去进行一个题目的改写。第二个部分描述的是 summary， 要总结全文的图形特征，也就是 key features。第三个部分是主体段，也就是 body paragraph 1 to 3。我们一般会写1个到3个主体段，并且会根据它们的重要程度来进行描述。这篇文章我们的 introduction 就可以写为 The line graph illustrates the numbers of participants blah blah blah。Summary 的部分，我们一般会从3个方面去描述。第一个叫做 trends， 就是去看它们趋势的异同点；第二个叫 data， 就是去看它们数据的一个差值最大最小，或者就是描述它们的 meaning 实际意义；第三个就叫做差值。从趋势上面看，第一个 film club 它是属于一个波动，第二个也是波动 martial arts。第三个呢是下降，第四个是上升，第五个也是上升，虽然它前面没有。趋势描述完成之后呢，我们接下来就可以去看一下它的整个数据的大小。Film Club 在所有的时间年份当中，2000一直到2020年都是最大的。而它的 meaning， 也就是实际意义，我们可以根据题干的要求，它说的是参加活动的人数，那我们就可以说它是最受欢迎的一项活动。同样的，我们的 dramatics 它就是最不受欢迎的一项 activity。最后我们来看一下差值。差值是指在同一个时间不同的对象之间，它们数据差异的大小。而在这道题目当中，它所有的数据其实是不存在这样的一个差值的变化的，因为它们还会有一些焦点，就不好比较，所以我们就不写这个差值。下面我们进入到具体的 body 段，去描述每一个对象的点要看选哪些起点、终点和中间的一些特殊值，比如这里的2010年就是他们的一个转折点。Martial arts 整体都是波动，并且这个数据是在30到40之间，所以我们可以取一个中间值35。Dramatics 和 table tennis 我们可以放在一起写，因为它们有相反的趋势。同样的，我们会选择起点和终点以及中间它们相交的位置，大概是在2010年。最后的 musical performances 我们直接描述它的起点和终点就可以。
Okay, firstly, let's look at the topic. The graph gives information on the numbers of participants for different activities at one social center in Melbourne, Australia for the period of 2000 and 2020. From the statement, we can know that it's about the past tense. And then we know it talks about the number. Okay. The reason why I just write the past tense is to note you guys, we should remember the tense, the right tense of this writing, okay? As for the next part, we need to know what should we write for each part. And there are 3 main parts for the task 1 writing. First is about the introduction part. That means we need to paraphrase the topic. Okay. The second one is about the summary. Means we need to find the bullet points or the key features of the chart. And for the third part is about the body paragraphs. And we often just write 1, 2, 3 paragraphs for each IELTS Task 1 writing. Okay, so the first part is about the introduction. We can only just write like the line graph illustrates the participation of something and paraphrase them. And for the second part, we need to know the summary. So what is summary for each line chart? Firstly, we should find the key features for the trends. And second one, I think it's about the data or its meaning. And for the third one, we should say whether there is a gap between different data. Okay. Firstly, about the trends, we can see here for the film club, which just showed maybe we can say fluctuation, right? And for the next part, it's about the martial arts. It showed fluctuate. And a mentor dramatics, we can see here, it's just like a jump, so it's a drop. We can also notice here is a slight increase, right? But when it comes to the summary part, we don't just focus on such specific trend. We just focus on the overall trend. We can see it declined during the whole period. And for the table tennis here, we can see there is a huge or the sharp increase. And the musical performances, it also showed a steady rise, even though there was no musical performances before 2005. So we can just summarize the trends for the very first part in the summary, and then we can see the data. What is the difference of the data? So we can notice that here, as for the film club, which was always the highest in all the years, so we can say it had the largest number of participants during this period. And when it comes to the IELTS, if you want to get a higher score, we should notice or explain what's the meaning of this data. That means we can say, oh, maybe it was the most popular activity in this area or in the at this social center. We can say it was the most popular activity. And in contrast, this one might be the least popular activity by the end of this period. Okay, so this is all about the data. And for the third one, we should know whether there is gap between different categories. Yeah, there is huge gaps. There is a huge gap, but we cannot tell the specific features of these gaps, so we just ignore it in this writing response. Okay. As for the body 1 to 3, we need to know which part is the most important one so that we can write them for the very first. And here we can know the film club was the most important one, right? So we will just write it. The film club, we should stress this one, and this one, because this is a starting point, this is the ending point, and here is a changing point. So we should just emphasize these 3 points for the data for different time. Okay. As for the second one, it's about martial arts. We can notice it just fluctuated at around 35, so we just write 35. When it comes to the next one, mentor dramatics and table tennis, we can see they have different figures at the end and at the beginning, but they have a turning point in 2010. So here we just emphasize these figures. As for the last one, musical performances, we can see it just started at 2005, so we just write it from here. And here is was quite a stable increase, so we just write or emphasize the ending point and the starting point, and the trend is quite stable. Okay. And here is the revised version for the GPT, and if we can just write at this level in the real test, I think we can possibly or hopefully get a band 8 or 9, and hope you can enjoy my delivery. Okay, here is a expression. Okay, hope you enjoy it. Goodbye.
喜欢我你就订阅我，谢谢大家。